A lovely afternoon and thanks for joining us on the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. My name is Grace Mwafo. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board and Tertiary Education stakeholders have approved the cut-off mark for 2025 admissions into the nation's universities. At this year's annual policy meeting on admissions into tertiary institutions held in Abuja, the meeting adopted 150 as the benchmark for admission into universities and 100 for polytechnics and colleges of education. The meeting also adopted 140 for colleges of nursing across the country. The decision was voted and adopted by the heads of institutions. This means that no tertiary institution is allowed to admit students who score below the approved benchmark. Meanwhile, the federal government reiterated 16 years as the minimum age for admission into Nigeria's tertiary institutions. Alausawa, declaring the meeting open, emphasized that the age benchmark was non-official and non-negotiable. He warned that any admission carried out outside the central admission processing system would be considered illegal. That while the policy would be made in rare and justified cases, he also warned against attempts to manipulate age records to beat the new directive. The interim national chairman of the African presidential candidate amid reports that 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi and former Minister of Transport Rotimi Amechi, amongst others, were front-runners for the party's ticket for the 2027 election. According to the statement released by his media team on Tuesday in Abuja, Mark emphasized that all party members were equal stakeholders. ADC's 2023 presidential Maybe Kachiku had accused the mark of being biased in favor of Atiku, with growing concerns that the ambition of the three contenders could divide the party. However, Mark assured Nigerians that the party would maintain complete transparency under his leadership. Dangote Petroleum Refinery yesterday slashed the depot price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, to 820 naira per litre from 838 naira per litre as competition heightens in Nigeria's domestic market. The adjustment was also due to the drop in crude oil prices to $70 per barrel yesterday from more than $77 per barrel in June 2025. However, other operators also adjusted their depot prices at different rates in order to be competitive under the current circumstances. According to petrolprice.com, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery made the highest adjustment, while Fatmans adjusted to 837 naira per litre from 838 naira per litre was the least. Report says the global markets, oil, and by extension petrol prices have been unstable in the past few weeks due mainly to the Israel-Iran conflict. Recently, depot owners reduced the prices of petrol by 5% when the price of Nigeria's Bonny Light dropped to $68 per barrel from more than $80 per barrel in the global market. The United States Department of State has announced an update to its non-immigrant visa policy for Nigerian citizens. According to a press release issued by the U.S. Embassy in Abuja, Most non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visas issued to citizens of Nigeria will be single-entry visas with a 3-month validity period. The new visa restriction takes immediate effect. The embassy, however, clarified that those U.S. non-immigrant visas issued before July 8, 2025 will retain their status and validity. The statement emphasized that the move was part of the department's global visa reciprocity process, which the embassy described as a continuous process and is subject to review. To meet these benchmarks and further with Nigeria. This is still the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, more stories from the foreign scene and sports will come your way.
From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV. From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV.
Glad to know that you're still there if you're just joining us. This is the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. Over now to the foreign scene. Kenyan President William Ruto has warned against attempts to overthrow the government through unconstitutional means, claiming recent violent protests were sponsored. Ruto's remarks comes after nationwide anti-government rallies earlier in the week saw at least 31 people killed, according to rights group. Since June 2024, Kenya has witnessed a wave of protests initially led by young people angry at the state of the economy, corruption, and police brutality. The demonstrations have been met with increasing force by the police. Kenyan rights groups have also condemned police brutality during the protest, as well as the rise of people paid to disrupt and loot during rallies. Beijing has condemned on Wednesday new restrictions by Washington on Chinese purchases of U.S. farmland as discriminatory and violating international trade rules. The Trump administration said earlier this week that the United States would begin restricting purchases of farmland by Chinese nationals and other foreign adversaries. A spokeswoman for China's foreign ministry, Mao Ning, condemned the restrictions as a typical discriminatory practice that violates the principles of a market economy and international economic and trade rules and will ultimately harm the U.S. own interests. She urged the U.S. to quit politicizing economic, trade, and investment issues. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins unveiled the National Farm Security Action Plan, citing national security concerns and referring to Chinese communist acquisition of American farmland. Rollins said the Trump administration has plans to claw back what has already been purchased by China and other foreign adversaries. China by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. From the United States, U.S. President Donald Trump will welcome 5 African leaders to a White House lunch on Wednesday, with commerce and trade expected to feature prominently among a mixed bag of potential agenda items. The president of Senegal, Liberia, Guinea-Bissau, Mauritania, and Gabon will convene at Trump's behest. Officials from the countries have told the AFP that they expect talks to center on trade, investment, and security, amongst other topics, as they meet in the Executive Mansion State Dining Room. But few concrete details have emerged as to the White House intentions. The meeting comes as the Trump administration is focused on tariffs and trade deals and as it seeks to ensure a stable supply of critical minerals. The gathering additionally takes place just days after the Trump administration charity-based model. And now from the world of sports. PSG coach Luis Enrique has described Wednesday's Club World Cup semi-final showdown between the European champions and Real Madrid as special, but dismissed questions over his relationship with Kylian Mbappe ahead of a reunion with the superstar striker. PSG came to the United States for the tournament fresh from winning the UEFA Champions League for the first time in the season following Mbappe's departure for Real. Luis Enrique coached Mbappe during his final campaign in Paris, a turbulent year in which the France captain was initially sidelined from the team for refusing to sign a new contract and later used sparingly after making it clear he would depart. While PSG are seeking to end a trophy-laden season with even more silverware, the Club World Cup marks the start of a new era for Real under their new coach, Xabi Alonso. Winners of Wednesday's semi-final will advance to the final on Sunday, where Chelsea lie in wait after the English side defeated Fluminense 2-0 in Tuesday's first last four tie. And that's a wrap on the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. Do stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the broadcast. Good afternoon.